Welcome to First Year Writing Composition 2, a practical, hands-on course in developing effective strategies for writing the short, focused, thesis-driven college paper. My name is Professor Stephen Brown. I'm a Barrick Scholar here at UNLV. I earned my BA in English from the University of California, Santa Barbara, my MA and PhD in Rhetoric and Composition from the University of South Florida. I've taught writing at all levels of public education, from junior high and high school to community college and the university for over 30 plus years. That said, let's begin with a question. Why write? When we pose that question to ourselves, several reasons immediately spring to mind. One, we write to record our experience, whether as individuals or as societies. What would we know after all, of the Egyptian or Greek or Roman civilizations if they hadn't recorded their history in writing? We write to express ourselves. When you write a poem or say lyrics to a song, you are expressing a part of yourself, something within yourself, giving form to that. We write to teach, instruct. When you write a technical manual for a computer, say, you are giving people instructions or teaching them how to operate it. And we write to communicate. And so I would say any one of those alone is enough to justify your presence in this course. For after all, you should be able to expect to gain some practical, pragmatic return on your efforts here. So it always helps, I think, in beginning a course to know why we are studying the subject we are studying. What is its relevance? What's its importance? Otherwise, it does just sort of devolve into an academic exercise. And I've always felt that education, to be meaningful, must relate to what's beyond these walls, what's to the real world out there. Must, in other words, be a kind of education that can be applied either to our lives or to our careers. And if you think that the ability to write persuasively is irrelevant to success in the job marketplace, you may want to reconsider that idea. For example, tell it to the lawyer that the ability to write persuasively is irrelevant to his or her success when they are trying to persuade a jury to vote in favor of their verdict. Tell an advertising copywriter that the ability to write persuasively is irrelevant to their success. Tell it to the salesperson that the ability to persuade is irrelevant to their success. Tell it to the politician running for office who's trying to persuade you to vote for them, or the lobbyist trying to persuade that politician to pass a certain piece of legislation, that the ability to communicate persuasively is irrelevant. Tell it to the person going in front of a small claims judge, trying to get that judge to render a verdict in their favor, that that ability to persuade and to marshal facts and details in an argument is irrelevant. Tell it to the person going to their boss seeking a raise, again, that the ability to communicate persuasively is not essential to their goals. I would argue that these abilities to communicate effectively and orally and in writing are ubiquitous in numerous careers in our society, to the point where recently when I was having dinner with the director of admissions to a very well-known medical school, said, "Steve, guess where we're recruiting our doctors and nurses these days?" I go, "I don't know." He goes, "From English majors." I go, "Really?" I can understand why law schools would recruit heavily from English departments. They want lawyers who obviously can manipulate the English language effectively. But doctors and medical schools? He goes, "Yes, we can teach our doctors and nurses, our medical students, everything they need to know about medicine once we get them. But what we need are doctors and nurses who can communicate effectively with each other, with their patients' relatives, with insurance companies. So that, God forbid, if we wind up in a malpractice suit in a courtroom and a key piece of evidence is a nurse's description of a patient's symptoms and it's illegible, we may very well lose that case." So these abilities to communicate effectively and orally and written are just essential to success in many careers. For 30 years, employers have pretty much given me the same message. Steve, we're looking for two things in your graduates. One, strong computer skills. Two, strong communication skills, oral and written. That's a pretty killer combination to go out on the market with. And if you do go out on the job market with that combination of skills, you are sort of giving yourself a leg up on your competition. And anything you can do in a very competitive job market to give yourself an advantage, it behooves you to do so. So that when it comes time to write that cover letter, one of the most difficult and important, significant documents you will ever write, applying for a job, your communication abilities may very well get you into the interview room, at which point your oral communication abilities may get you the job. But that combination is a very useful and marketable combination to have. So these are some of the just practical returns you can expect on your investment in the effort expected of you in this course. Okay, having said that, I welcome you to this course, and I hope over the next few sessions we can learn and develop some practical strategies for improving our written communication, particularly as it relates to introducing, stating, developing, and assessing a thesis in a short, focused college paper. Thank you very much.